Good afternoon for 4 News Now. I'm Rob King. Welcome to today's KXLY Plus Daily Rundown on this weather alert day. And as we ought to do on a weather alert day, we bring in a professional, 4 News Now's meteorologist Matt Gray, to talk about what today's weather alert day is about. Matt, what can you tell us?
All right, well, folks, it's going to be a stormy afternoon and evening around the inland Northwest, and in particular, we are a little bit concerned about the possibility for some flash flooding because there's a lot of water that's going to come with these storms when eventually they do show up later today.
Is this seasonal for this time of year?
This is definitely wet spring rains are always welcome at this point of the year, but sometimes you get too much too much too fast, and that's kind of what we're worried about today.
We also had kind of a recent string of above average heat for this time of year. Does that have an impact on these thunderstorms?
Certainly it'll give them a little bit more energy. We already are kind of been watching the temperatures. We're already up into the 80s across North Idaho and in the Panhandle, one of the places where we do think it is going to be quite vigorous later today.
Got it. What are those areas we should be watching out for?
So the areas that I'm going to be watching out for are basically anywhere between kind of Spokane and Kootenai counties to the north. And you could see here as well where we, once again, concerned about flooding. And so there is a flood watch in place pretty much for the entirety of our northern mountains, both in Washington and in Idaho, Spokane and Coeur d'Alene Metro, and then as you head south into north central Idaho, including the Idaho Palouse. What we have been watching so far today is, well, winds coming out of Montana, and so that's going to bring developing storms there, move them into our area. And what you're seeing on the map here is what we call moisture content, so how much moisture is sitting up there in the atmosphere. This is a little bit unusual for us. After all, we're in a fairly arid climate, and so anytime we get kind of into that bright green and yellow territory here with the moisture content, that's usually quite a bit more than normal, and that's one of the reasons why we're worried that these storms are going to bring a lot of rain in a very short amount of time, and of course that can lead to some flash flooding.
So what's the timeline looking like for the rest of the day?
Based on kind of what we've seen on the radar so far, there's a lot of activity going on over in Montana. It is moving gradually this direction. The way I see things now, we're probably looking at things kind of really cranking up here, starting at about 4 o'clock, and then through about 8 or 9 o'clock, we'll continue to see rain. But probably between that 4 and like 7 p.m. time frame will be where we have the best chance for like some thunderstorms and some heavier rain, maybe even a little bit of hail, maybe some gusty winds, some thunder and lightning. And then once we get later into the evening, we're going to have kind of that leftover rain that will continue to fall around the metro.
Now, does that bring the cool air with it, or is the cool air just kind of a coincidence that it's kind of cooling off tomorrow into the 70s?
I think it's a bit more of a coincidence. I mean, part of it is having some cloud cover. Part of it is just that things are kind of moving around a little bit as far as the weather pattern goes.
Got it. Well, Matt, is there anything else you want to add or anything you folks should look out for?
I do want to bring up. Can you bring up the graphic with the flash flood risk?
Yes, I do have that.
So while we're talking about this, I want to go ahead and put this up here. This is from the National Weather Prediction Center, and so this kind of puts your flash flood risk on a map here. So we're definitely going to be looking at some heavier rain and some more vigorous storms across North Idaho, so particularly in Kootenai County and Shoshone County, and then as you work your way down through Layton, Benawag counties. As the storms come off the mountains here from the Montana state line, it's likely they are going to be quite vigorous and slow moving as well. Nothing's been moving more than about 20 miles an hour today, and so when it eventually does get here, the stormy weather, well, that's one of the reasons why we're worried about the flash flooding, because they can drop a lot of rain in a short amount of time. And when you have stronger storms, like we expect across North Idaho, as compared to eastern Washington today, well, that's one of the reasons why we're looking at that area kind of lit up in the red as the hot spot.
Got it. Matt, well, I want to thank you for your time. Is there anything else that you want to add real quick?
Yeah, we'll be tracking everything as it moves in, and we'll be sending alerts on your 4 News Now weather app, and that's where you can track live radar anytime. because it's definitely going to be a raincoat afternoon. You don't want to get one catching you by surprise today. You're not going to have a good time if you do.
Awesome. Meteorologist Matt Gray, thank you for joining me. I will talk to you later.
Alrighty, thanks.
So like Matt said, be sure to download the KXLY weather app. Turn on notifications so you can be aware if there are alerts in your area. Let's take a look at what the rest of the team is working on today. Bronte Sorotsky, she's pouring over court docs today. Now tomorrow we're expecting the hearing for the judge to hear arguments on the gag order in the Moscow murders trial, which is set to begin in the fall. In part of the filing is that the defense wants no cameras in the courtroom, citing that it creates a prejudicial effects on trial publicity. So Bronte is going to have the details on that and what we are looking forward to tomorrow and what we should expect, and have the really details of this and dive into it. Vanessa Perez, she is looking at poor air quality out on the East Coast, but it's a reminder that this is sort of an annual occurrence for us here in the inland Northwest with wildfires. Right now, Canada wildfires are creating hazardous conditions on the east, but Vanessa's going to have details on how you can get prepared, what you should expect, and just a good reminders on tips for being ready for when the air quality in our area gets worse as well. 4 News Now's Mark Peterson. He has an Extreme Team reveal later, the Gardening for Grands, and what it is along with the East Valley Middle School woodshop class, they have built raised garden beds for seniors at 4 different senior homes in our area. So they're going to reveal that project today. Mark's been sending us over some great photos today of the middle schoolers and the seniors interacting, just hanging out. It's education and helps the seniors get out and interact with some of the youth in the area. So that's always nice to see, and that reveal will come up tonight. Also tonight, Kirsten O'Connor has a special report airing in 4 News Now at 6. It's going to take a look back at the 91 firestorm and how the city has better prepared since then, and also how you can prepare to be safe with your family to avoid losing everything. In addition to Kirsten's special report, in about an hour and a half here, I'll be sitting down with Kirsten to talk about the special report, how it came together, and some exclusive content that won't make it to TV tonight. You can only get that on kxly-plus. So be sure to download that app for your connected TVs. That's Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. Also be sure to download the 4 News Now mobile app and the KXLY weather app to make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news in your community. So that's all we got for today's rundown. Thank you, Matt Gray, for joining me. We have regular show tonight after the NBA Finals last night, so 4 News Now at 5. Tune in, but for now, live in studio, I'm Rob King for KXLY+.